G'day guys. Just looking at T cells and what's related to them. But let's listen to what somebody well known is talking about in regards to this issue, and then we'll go into some of the studies. So as you can see, makes no difference whether you've, let's say, had a close and dear relationship with Jabba the Hutt. The levels are the same. Interesting. Obviously, people want to sell additional product in that regard. Doesn't surprise me that that is happening, but and obviously, even those who've had a close encounter with Jabba the Hutt are still basically ending up hospitalized, ending up basically in ICUs, ending up having. Why should it surprise us? When you've got a species inappropriate diet, poor vitamin D status, all these things that are very critical for a good, well-functioning immune system, say no more in that regard. Now, let's just look at one of the recent studies. So let me just share my screen. So there's a recent study that's looking at T cells in regards to COV2. So this is an accelerated article preview that they're getting out. So this PDF file of peer-reviewed paper has been accepted for publication. Anyway, let's get into the publication. And pretty much individuals with potential exposure to SARS-CoV-2 do not necessarily develop PCR or antibody positive, suggesting some may have clear subclinical infections before circumversion. T cells, so T lymphocytes, when they say T cells, you hear sometimes people calling them T lymphocytes, same thing, can contribute to the rapid clearance of SARS-CoV-2 and other coronavirus infections, influenza, common colds, all these other types in that regard. So if you've got a good T cell functioning, you can clear them out. That means you'll actually have very mild symptoms, because really, they'll get them as they're coming in. We hypothesize the pre-existing memory T cells responses with cross-protective potential against SARS-CoV-2 will expand in vivo to support rapid viral control, aborting infections. So they've pretty much identified that people that have got really good T cell function is pretty much that important thing. What we have noticed, which is really important, what we have noticed is that people that have comorbidities, that are generally have poor immune function, are not eating a species appropriate diet, is specifically to get the good nutrients that are required, and I'll go into that shortly, or have a good vitamin D status, tend to have, poorer T cell function, sometimes, in a senescent state, or in a sort of in a state where, you end getting apoptotic effects, not functioning properly and stuff like that. And it's all associated with the modern lifestyle, the modern diet. Pretty much we've got a lifestyle which has has veered so far away from a species appropriate diet. It's not a joke. We just have to look at, you go into a supermarket, you see all these people with packaged garbage in their trolleys. There's little bits of real food. And when it comes to good quality animal foods, it's just little bits in this processed food. These people are malnourished, have got really poor nutrition, poor vitamin D status. They're going to have poor T cell functioning. And it's the reason whether you have a close relationship with Jabba the Hutt, and you even have a booster with Jabba the Hutt, it makes not so much difference in terms of your protection or your family's protection. I think this myth, if you go back, they were saying that if you take Jabba, you're 100% protected. Nothing's going to happen to you. Everything's going to be fine. Now they've changed their tune. What are they saying now? They're saying a different tune. That's basically even some people that have got, whether they've had a close encounter with Jabba the Hutt or not, when it comes to the viral load in there, these sort of key mucosal layer type areas of protection, similar levels. What is that telling you? That means you don't have very good immune function to clear that stuff out. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what humans, all species do. They can clear stuff out if they're healthy. So when you don't have a healthy population, when you don't basically have that capacity, you basically have very similar viral loads. Whether you've had a close relationship with Jabba the Hutt, you've had a 1, 2, and a booster with Jabba the Hutt, makes no difference. So we need to basically get real about this. Now, let me just go to the other study, which is really important. So this is, I'm not going to go any further. I mean, you guys get the drift. It's really, if you've got T lymphocytes that are really in good condition, healthy T lymphocytes, they're going to do the job. They're going to clear these things out, whether it's influenza, the common cold, or the current, variety of coronas. Makes no difference. Very important. Now, this is a German study. Goes back a few years, 2012. So it doesn't relate to the current stuff, but it's important because it relates to T cells. Anyway, what is this study telling us? Effective T cell recall responses. Remember, memory T cell responses. They're talking about this here in this study in terms of COVID. Recall response require taurine transporter. Okay, you need a taurine transporter. I wonder what foods taurine is very high in. Oh, surprise, surprise. Steaks. Yes. Now, I'm not claiming that steaks will basically cure the coronaviruses. You know, I make no such claims. But this study is basically telling us of the importance of a steak a day keeps Jabba the Hutt away. So T cell activation and subsequent transformation of activation of T cells into T cell blasts requires profound changes in cell volume. However, the impact of cell volume regulation of T cell immunology has not been characterized. Here we studied the role of cell volume regulating osmolyte transporter, the taurine transporter for T cell activation. So the taurine transporter has a very important role, plus even involved in the T cell activation. So in taurine transporter deficient mice, T cell mediated recall responses were severely impaired in those mice that didn't have good taurine transporter capacity. Severely impaired. Remember what this study is saying. You know, what was it? Okay, you get the drift. You get the drift. You know, it's not complicated rocket science, guys. I mean, I'm not going to go right through it. People want to read it. Good luck. The key thing, what we're looking here, and they've even looked in terms of in vivo, so in the animal, not in vitro, but in the animal. I've actually seen in vitro studies as well. So basically resulted impaired in vivo in the animal generation of T cell memory. That is how important a species appropriate diet is. Species appropriate diet is very important. You know, you add the right nutrition, you really, as I say, sun, salt, and meat. You add the right nutrition, you actually support the immune system. And you add in vitamin D, you regulate the immune system. That, and also improve the tight junctions. So you reduce the amount of viral load coming in from those mucosal layers, the nasal cavity and all that. And you basically then get good response, T lymphocyte response. That's the winning effect. That clears it out. You may not have any whatsoever, as the study pointed out. If you've got good clearance, you may have very mild symptoms whatsoever. As I say, not an apple, but a steak a day will keep the doctor away. And it will keep the Grim Reaper away as well, apparently, in these strange times. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. See yous.